So now we are going to differentiate using quotient rule. How to see quotient rule? Quotient rule, you see it when you have two functions when they are dividing each other. Ne? So how to derive this one? How to derive this function where the r of x is the subject of the formula. Ne? So they will ask you to find the derivative of r of x. Ne? You're gonna write it like that. So the derivative of r of x using quotient rule, ne? Like that. You're gonna take the first function, this one. Ne? You what? You derive it. Ne? You multiply it by the bottom function, which is the second one. You do what? You don't derive it, you just multiply. Remember, using product rule, ne? In product rule, whenever the same bases are multiplying each other, that is why we say product, we add the what? The exponent. But then if we have the two products, I mean, if you have the bases when they are the same but they divide each other, we do what? We subtract the exponent. Ne? So now you're going to keep what? You are going to keep the first function, then derive what? Derive the second function, which is the bottom one. Then we are not done. You are going to take the what? This bottom function. You are going to take it and square it. You don't derive it, you just square it. You don't do much. Like this. This is how you differentiate using what? Quotient rule. Ne? So let's say we have what? You have a function y. Y is the subject of the formula. They say f of x. They say what? Over g of x. They say differentiate. You can say what? You can say you are deriving with respect to, you are deriving y. You are deriving what? You are deriving y with respect to what? To x. Meaning you can say what? You can say y prime, or you can say what? Dy over dx equals to what? You derive that thing. You are going to have what? F prime of x multiplied by g of x minus what? You keep the first function, then you derive it by you multiply by the derivative of the bottom function. Therefore you still what? You square what? You square the bottom function, all square. You see? But then let's say there is nothing is subject to the formula, it's just the function by itself. Ne? Let's say you have what? You have f of x, you are deriving with respect to x. Ne? You have g of x. How can you find the derivative of that thing? You must say, I am deriving an unknown thing that it has no what? That it has no what? That it has no something as a subject of the formula. So just say d over dx. Write it like this. Ne? So the moment you start deriving, here you have not yet started deriving. You are just telling them you want to derive. Ne? The moment you start deriving, you leave this thing alone. You leave that thing alone. You are going to be left with what? With f prime of x, then g of x minus f of x, g prime of x, all divided by what? All divided by g of x, all square. You must not put d over dx here or put d over dx here. You leave it alone. Please don't put that. You leave it alone like that. Understand? So let's do quick example that they say we must differentiate using quotient rule, or that they must be differentiated using quotient rule. Ne? The first function, ne? We have a function t of what? T of x. They are saying t of x equals to what? X minus 3 divided by what? 3 minus x. You have two functions. Ne? You have two functions. The first one is what? Is f of x. The bottom one, you just choose any letters you want. G of x. Ne? It means what? It means t prime of what? Of x is going to be what? We are going to what? We are going to derive the first function. You say f prime of x. Therefore you do what? You keep the bottom one, which is g of x, this one here. Ne? Then say what? Say subtract. Ne? When you subtract, you do what? You keep the first one. Ne? Therefore you do what? You derive the bottom one, which is the second one. Therefore, you say what? The whole divided by what? You just keep the bottom one as it is. Ne? You say g of x, then you square it as it is. You don't do anything. Ne? So our f of x is x minus 3. Meaning, what is our f prime of x? Our f prime of x is going to be what? Is going to be 1. Ne? Therefore, our g prime of x is going to be what? The derivative of 3 minus x is going to be what? Negative 1. Because this x here is negative x, meaning it's going to be negative x. So let's substitute our answers there. Our f prime of x, let me write t prime of x. Don't forget that thing. So our f prime of x is what? Is 1. I'm going to substitute my 1. Therefore, I keep my g of x, which is what? 3 minus x. 3 minus x. There I say minus. Then I what? I keep f of x. I keep f of x, which is what? X minus 3. Therefore, I what? I multiply by the derivative of what's in the denominator, which is what? Negative 1. I say negative 1. Therefore, I do what? I divide the whole thing. Ne? After dividing the whole thing, I take the bottom one. I keep it as it is. Ne? I'm going to keep 3 minus x as it is. Therefore, I do what? I square it. Understand? I square it. So if I simplify that thing, I say t prime of x. I'm going to be left with what? 3 minus x. Therefore, I'm going to do what? I can multiply this x, negative 1, there and there. Therefore, I'm going to have what? Negative into negative x plus 3. You see? Therefore, I say what? The whole divided by what? That thing is simplified already. You must not expand it, then multiply it. Ne? You must have order. Therefore, when I multiply the brackets there, I'm going to remain with 3 minus x plus x. Therefore, I have what? I have minus 3 divided by what? Divided by 3 minus x all squared. Ne? Then I say t prime of x. T prime of x. You see now, this 3 subtract, cancel that one. This x, cancel that one. I remain with what? With 0 over what? Over 3 minus x all squared. Anything, this thing is the same as what? Is the same as what? 1 over what? 1 over 3 minus x all squared. Anything, then I have what? I have 0. You know, everything multiplied by 0 is what? Is 0. Just like that. Ne? So let's check question number 2. Number 2, they're saying we must derive this function. We have a function, the subject of the formula is r of x. We have what? We have 4x squared minus 8x all divided by what? All divided by x cubed. Ne? Meaning our f of x is going to be what? Our f of x is going to be 4x squared minus 8. Therefore, our g of x is what? Is x cubed. So we have to find our f prime of x is going to be what? 8x minus 8. Therefore, our g prime of x is going to be what? It's going to be 3x squared. So what is our r prime of x? R prime of x is going to be what? We know it's going to be f prime of x multiplied by what? G of x. Always, all the time, né? Start by this function. It's not that you choose any function to start with. Always, all the time, start by the function that is in the denominator. Please, always, all the time, start by this function. Start by deriving it. Ne? Don't start by this one. Start by the one in the numerator. Start by deriving it. Always, all the time. Ne? Don't start by that one, because subtraction is not cumulative. It's not just like addition. Ne? So we're going to say what? Minus what? We keep the second function. Therefore, we derive what? The second function. Therefore, we divide by what? We divide by the one that is in the denominator only. We square it. Ne? So meaning our r prime of x is going to be what? We substitute our f prime of x, which is 8 minus x I'm going to have what? I'm going to have 8x minus 8. Ne? Therefore, we keep g of x. Our g of x is x cubed. X cubed. Therefore, I say what? Subtract. We keep f of x, which is what? 4x squared minus 8x. 4x squared minus 8x. Therefore, I do what? I derive g of x. G of x, the derivative of g prime of x is going to be 3x squared. Therefore, I divide everything by what? By whatever was in the denominator, which is x cubed, or what? Or g of x. I'm going to say what? X cubed, all what? All squared. Ne? So meaning my r prime of x is going to be what? I can multiply this thing. I'm going to have what? 8x cubed minus, x to the 4 minus 8x cubed. Ne? Therefore, I don't remove the bracket. I'm still multiplying. I'm going to deal with this product. I'm going to have what? What is 4 plus 4? 4 plus 4 is what? Is 8. Then 8 plus 4 is what? Is 12. I'm going to have 12x what? X to the 4 minus what is 8 plus 8? 8 plus 8 is what? I think is, 8 plus 8 is 16. Then 16 plus 8, let me see. We're going to have what? 16 plus 8. Therefore, what is 8 plus what? 8 plus 6. 8 plus 6 is going to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's going to be 14. Then I carry 1, I have 4. Then I have what? 24 there, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to have what? 24, negative 24. 24x to the x cubed, actually. X cubed. Ne? So I'm going to have what? All divided by what? Then this squared multiplied by 3 is what? Is x to the 6. I'm going to remain with what? I'm multiplying the brackets. X to the 4 minus 8x cubed plus 12x to the 4 plus 24x cubed, all divided by what? Divided by x to the 6. So let's check the common variables. Ne? We have x to the 4 here. We have x to the 4 here and x to the 4 here. Then we have x cubed here, x cubed here. So those things, they can add up each other, which means I'm going to have what? I'm going to have 8 plus what? 8 plus 12. 8 plus 12. 8 plus 12 is simply 20. I'm going to have 20 x to the 4. Therefore, I have negative 8 plus 24. So whenever I subtract, I'm going to subtract 4 in that 24. I'll remain with 20. I subtract another what? Another 4. I remain with 16. Meaning I'm going to have plus what? Plus 16 x to the 3 divided by what? X to the 6. Therefore, I have common factor of x cubed. I'm going to have x cubed. Then I have 20x plus 16. All divided by what? X to the 6. I know this 3 will cancel one of the 3 there. Then remain with what? With 3. Ne? Meaning I'm going to remain with what? With 20x plus 16 divided by what? Divided by x to the 3. That's our final answer. Therefore, let's check our number 3. Our number 3 read as follows. We have what? What's this? We're doing quotient rule, remember? So our number 3 is going to be something like, let me see. Our number 3 is f of x. We have f of x. Therefore, we have what? X squared minus 1 divided by what? Divided by x plus 2. So subject of the formula is f of x, which means I'm going to find f prime of x. I think now you know the what? The procedure. I'm deriving the first one, which I'm going to have 2x. I keep the second one, which is what? Which is x plus 2. Therefore, I say subtract. I keep the first function minus 1. Therefore, I derive the one in the denominator, which is going to be 1. Therefore, I divide by what? I divide by x plus 2 all squared, meaning I'm going to remain with what? 2x cubed plus 4. Therefore, I have minus x squared plus 1, all divided by what? All divided by x plus 2 all squared. So I'm going to have what? 2x cubed minus x squared, 4 plus 1 is what? Plus 5, all divided by what? All divided by x plus 2 all squared. That is the f prime of x. So let's check number 4. Number 4 reads as follows. Number 4, it says what? It says f of x equals to 4x plus 3. You can pause the video and then try it by yourself. So here we're going to find f prime of x. You know the procedure. You derive the first one, which is the derivative of 4x plus 3 is what? The derivative of 4x is 4. The derivative of 3 is 0, which is going to be 4. I keep the second one, which is the one in the denominator. I say subtract. I keep the one in the numerator, which is the f of x. Therefore, I derive the one in the denominator. The derivative of 3x is 3. Derivative of 4 is 0. Derivative of any constant is 0, ne? And the derivative of 0 is 0. Understand? So I square whatever is in the denominator only. Understand? Meaning I'm going to remain with what? 3 plus 3 is what? Is 9. 9 plus 3 is what? Is 12. We're going to have 12x. And then 4 plus 4 is what? Is 8. Then 8 plus 8 is what? Is 16. Understand? We're going to have, let me see, 4 plus 4 is 4 times 4. 4 plus 4, 8. 8 plus 8, 16. Plus 16 minus, that one is the one the same, which is negative 12x. Yeah, negative 12x. Then negative 9. All divided by what? If you're wondering how I got that answer, I did what? I multiplied these things simultaneously with the what? With this negative here. So I'm going to what? These things will cancel each other. This one and that one. So 16 minus 9. So if I subtract 6 from 16, it means I kill what? I kill 9 to be 3. I kill the what? The 16, which means I have to subtract 3 from what? 3 from 10, which is I'm going to have 7. 7 over 3x plus 4 all squared. You can simplify this thing if you want and put it like this. Minus 2. That will be your final answer. So let's go to number 6. Number 6, it says what? It says what is we have we have y actually. We have y equals to x to the 4 minus 4 divided by what? Divided by 2x cubed minus x. So if we have y subject of the formula, they are saying differentiate, you can say y prime, or you can say what? Dy over dx, because you are deriving y with respect to x. If it was p, you are gonna say dp over what? If here you have variable as what? As let's say k, you're gonna say I'm deriving dp with respect to k. Understand? So now we are deriving y with respect to x. I'm going to say dy over dx. I'm going to say equal to. So I derive the first function. I'm going to the derivative of x to the 4 is 3x cubed. 3x cubed, because the derivative of negative 4 is going to be 0. Then I keep the one in the denominator, minus x, subtract, I keep the one in the numerator, x to the 4 minus 4. I derive the one in the denominator. I'm going to have 3 times 2 is going to be what? 6. 6x squared minus 1. Therefore, I square it. I'm going to have what? 2x cubed minus x all squared. You see, so it's gonna take me time to multiply these things, and this thing is still safe to leave that answer as it is like that. So let's go to question number 7. Number 7, it says what? Number 7 says 7x plus 30x squared all divided by what? All divided by x plus x squared. We don't have anything as subject of the formula, understand? It means I'm gonna say I'm deriving an unknown thing that have no subject of the formula with respect to what? I see the x's with respect to x. Ne? I'm going to say 7x plus 30x squared divided by what? Divided by 8 plus x squared. Ne? So if you are still simplifying, you have not yet started deriving, you must not remove this thing. Ne? For example, let's say I'm simplifying. I'm going to say equal to d over dx. I have not yet started deriving, and I can rewrite my thing as 30 what? Or I can remove the common factor of x. Ne? I'm going to have x into what? 7 plus 30 all divided by, I remove common factor of x. I have what? 1 plus x. I have not yet started deriving. Hence, I am not removing what? I am not removing this thing of what? This thing of d over dx. Ne? Don't remove it before you start to derive. Ne? So me busy simplifying, I'm going to have d over dx. I still have what? 7. I forgot the x here. 7 plus 30x all divided by what? All divided by 1 plus x. So now I can simply start deriving my function there. So I leave alone this thing. I leave alone this thing because I am starting to derive now. So the derivative of 7x plus the derivative of 7 is what? Is 0. The derivative of 30x is what? Is going to be simply 30. I multiply it by the 1 in the denominator. Subtract. I keep the 1 in the numerator, which is f of x. I derive it by f prime of x, which is the 1 in the denominator. Is going to be 1. Therefore, I say the whole divided by what? Divided by 1 plus x all what? All squared. Don't forget. Ne? So it means my answer is going to be what? I multiply that thing. I'm going to have 30 plus 30x minus 7 minus 30x. And then I have what? I have 1 plus x all squared. I know this 30 cancel that one. Eh? Then 30 minus 7, I'm going to remain with what? With 33. 33 all divided by what? All divided by 1 plus x all squared. I can rewrite that thing as like what? 33. If you want 1 plus x negative 2. If you want, it's still fine. Eh? So let's go to another question. Another question, we have 8. 8 says what? 1 minus 7y plus what? Plus y plus 1. You see, we don't have any what? Any what's this? Any subject of the formula as something. Ne? So we are going to say we are deriving an unknown thing with respect to what? With respect to y, which means d over dy. You see, so I'm going to have what? I'm going to have 1 minus 7y divided by what? 1 plus 1, y plus 1. So if I start to derive, write equal to that side. Ne? It's important to write that equal sign. So I'm going to be left with what? I'm starting to derive now. Ne? Derivative of this thing in the numerator is going to be negative 7. Then I keep the 1 in the denominator. Subtract, keep the 1 in the numerator. Derive the second one, which is 1. Therefore, I square everything in the denominator. Therefore, when I start to multiply the brackets, I remain with negative 7y minus 7 minus 1 plus 7y. So the whole divided by what? The whole divided by y plus 1 all squared. I know this one cancel that one, ne? So negative 7 is simply negative 8. Negative 7 minus 1 is negative 8, divided by what? Divided by y plus 1 all squared. I like to leave my answer like this, but then it's not a must to leave your answer like that, ne? To avoid doing mistake. So let's go to number 9. Number 9, we have what? We have 1 over p squared. So we don't have subject of the formula as something, ne? It means we're going to say what? We're going to say we're deriving something with respect to what? We're deriving with respect to this variable, which is p. I'm saying dp. I'm gonna have what? 1 over p squared, ne? So I'm starting. Don't forget the equal sign. I derive the first function, which is f of x. Net derivative of 1 is what? Is 0. I multiply it by the 1 in the denominator, p squared. I say minus. I keep the 1 in the what? In the denominator. Then I derive the second one. Is going to be 2p. Ne? Therefore, I'm going to have remain with what? P squared all squared. Ne? So this one is what? Is 0, ne? Meaning I'm going to be left with what? Negative 2p. Don't ignore this negative. It's very important, because 0 minus 1 equals to negative 1. Don't say 0 minus 1 is what? Is 1, because 0 is nothing. No, press your calculator to ensure whatever you are talking about is really true, ne? Sometimes a mind can remember things that are not correct, ne? So you must just confirm your things. So we're going to be left 2 times 2 is going to be 2 to the 4, ne? So we're going to cancel one of the what? One of the p, then we're left with 3 of them. So my answer is going to be negative 2 over p cubed. I can rewrite that thing as negative 2p minus 3. That's my final answer. So another one, we have number 10. Number 10 says what? Number 10 says 1 minus 7z divided by what? Divided by 1 plus what? Plus f of y, where f of y equal to what? Equal to negative 1 plus z squared plus z. Understand? So I'm going to substitute this thing here. There. I'm going to have equal sign 1 minus z, 7z divided by what? 1 plus into, I'm going to have negative 1 plus z squared plus z. Ne? So my answer is going to be simply 1 minus, they are saying I must derive that thing. So I'm going to be left with what? I know these 2's will cancel. So I'm going to have z squared plus z. So if I want to derive that thing, I'm going to say I'm deriving an unknown thing that has no what? No subject of the formula as any variable with respect to something. I'm deriving with respect to what? Check the letters here. These letters are z. So I'm going to say d over dz. Ne? So I'm going to be left with 1 minus 7z divided by what? Divided by z squared plus z. Don't forget the equal sign is very much important. So if I start to derive, I leave that d over dz. I start to deriving. Derivative of 1 is 0. Derivative of negative 7z is what? Is negative 7. So I keep the 1 in the denominator actually. Negative. I keep the 1 in the numerator. I derive the 1 in the denominator. It's going to be 2z plus 1 divided by what? Divided by z squared plus z all squared. Ne? So there's no need for me to multiply those things because I see it's a huge work. So we have another last one. I can say f of t equals to what? 1 over root 2t actually 2t. So first thing first, I'm going to say what, let's say we don't have this this f of t thing. Yeah? They are saying we must derive that thing. We must know, for us to derive that thing, we're going to say we are deriving something with respect to what? With respect to any variable that is in that function, which is dt. Ne? So I'm going to be left with 1 over what? Square root of 2t. They say we must use quotient rule. You see equal sign, that is strict now. Ne? So we're starting by simplifying. Ne? We're going to have d over dt. So let's simplify that thing in the what? In the numerator is the same as 2t, then what? 1 over 2. Understand? So d over dt. Gad. So I'm going to what? Derive. I have simplified that thing. I leave alone d over dt. So I what? I do this thing. I derive the first one. Derivative of the first one is going to be 0. I keep the second one is the same. I can keep it as what? 2 root 2t. Then I say subtract. I keep the first one. I derive the second one. I'm going to have 1 over 2 multiplied by 2t. Ne? 2t, but then I do what? This thing is kind of like tricky. Ne? It's going to include what do you call it? What's this thing? It's going to include a chain rule, but then let me not include chain rule. I simplify it first. Ne? I'm going to this thing is the same as what? Is the same, that exponent can multiply this thing and this thing. Is the same as what? 1 over 2 then 2t 1 over 2. Ne? So it means it's the same as what? Is the same as root 2 t 1 over 2. Ne? So it means when I derive this thing, I'm going to have what? I'm going to have what? I drop the 1 over 2 and multiply it by what? By 2. I multiply it by this thing. Ne? So in that way, I'm going to subtract that exponent there. I'm going to have with what? Negative 1 over 2. You see? So I'm going to square that thing, that 2t. I square it. Ne? So this thing is 0. Ne? And minus, I kick that one out. I'm going to be left with negative what? This thing can now go in the denominator. Ne? This one cancel that one. I'm going to have negative. Therefore, I have what? Square root of 2 over 2. That one is in the denominator. Is going to be what? 1 over t. 1 over 2 is the same as 1 over root t. I'm going to have square root of t. You see? Therefore, I divide everything by what? By 2t. I can make reciprocal, which is negative root 2 over what? Over 2 root t multiplied by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of that is going to be what? Is going to be 1 over 2t. So I'm going to have what? I'm going to have a negative root 2 divided by what? 2 times 2 is what? Is 4. 4 what? That t is the same as t 1 over 2 multiplied by t. We have the bases that are the same. We add the exponent. Then 1 over 2 plus 1 is the same as what? 1 over 2 plus what? 2 over 2. You see? So it's the same as 1 plus 2 divided by what? By 2, which is 3 over 2. Ne? And 3 over 2, it means I'm going to be left with negative root 2 divided by 4. Therefore, I have what? T 3 over 2. So t 3 over 2 is the same as what? Negative 2 divided by 4. Therefore, I do what? I take that 3 outside the square root. Therefore, I square that 2. That is your final answer. If you want to simplify completely, you can leave your answer here if you want. You have derived that thing, main purpose. Ne? So in the next video, we're going to be doing what we call, what's this thing? chain rule.